Welcome to the Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs podcast, a place for podcasters to learn what's actually working in the world of podcasting and how to use their podcast to generate consistent leads in their business. I'm your host, Jenny, and I'm so excited you're here.
Hey, Savvies, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm so excited that you're here and I cannot wait to jump into today's episode. So in today's episode, we're chatting all about how to build hype for your upcoming podcast launch. So if you guys are planning on launching your podcast in the next few weeks or even months, then this episode is for you. So before we dive in, I did want to mention our new Instagram account, which is at Podcasting for Entrepreneurs. I'd absolutely love to have you join me over there, since that Instagram will be all about starting and growing your podcast, whereas my personal brand Instagram account, which is at jenny.sunnison, is more catered towards helping people become podcast managers and agencies. I just kind of wanted to split up the two so it's not talking about the same, so there's not talking about too many topics on one channel. So go check us out, Podcasting for Entrepreneurs on Instagram. I'd love to have you over there. All right, so let's dive into the 5 ways to build hype for your upcoming podcast launch. So number 1, you want to drop hints to your audience well before the actual launch happens and get them involved in the process. So like when you're figuring out your name, when you're figuring out like your cover art or your branding, when you're recording episodes with guests, things like that, share that with your audience, get them involved. It makes people get excited quicker, and it allows you to start building that community with your audience before your podcast even launches. And I like to always tell my clients to have them like their audience kind of vote on things. If you have 2 cover art options that you really like, maybe have them vote between the 2 options, say, hey, do you like A or B? And then pick the one that they choose and just get them involved. It makes it more fun for them. It gets them more excited. And then when you actually do launch, they are already excited about it because they know it's coming. It's not just sprung upon them randomly. So definitely drop hints and get your audience involved beforehand. Number 2, you want to craft a 2-week launch strategy. So you don't want to start you can drop hints, but you don't want to start fully hyping up your audience too early. Otherwise they will forget. So I really like to implement a 2-week launch strategy because that keeps you and your podcast top of mind for them, and you're not doing it too early that they forget. So make sure that you are sharing about your show over the course of the 2 weeks before your actual launch happens. And really just hype it up to your email list, on your social channels, whatever you use, if that's Instagram or maybe you're a Facebook person or you have a Facebook group or TikTok, whatever that is, just talk about your podcast on those channels leading up. And this kind of goes into number 2, but number 3 is send your audience to your trailer so that they can rate and review before any true episodes officially drop. And this is content you can use when you are doing that 2-week launch strategy. So share your trailer with your audience so that they can go rate and review the show before you even put out any episodes. This is such a fun way to get people excited because they're able to sit down and listen to your quick little trailer and host a rating and review and really just help move that process along. But yeah, definitely utilize this so that you can get people subscribed to your podcast before it even officially launches. So send them there, show them, do a little quick video on how to subscribe, stuff like that. That really just helps you get more eyes and ears on your show before it's even officially launched. Number 4, enlist your biz besties as your launch squad. So you don't need to do a full out launch squad, quote unquote, but it's really fun to get your friends involved. Reach out to your closest peers in the online space and see if they will help you promote your show before it goes live. So if they have a podcast, maybe you can go on their podcast, share some knowledge, and then also say, hey, my show is dropping in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then have that work. Or you can ask if they can send an email about it or post on social about it. This is just a really fun way to get more eyes and ears on your show that aren't already in your audience. So you get in front of new people before you even launch your show, as well as your own audience. So it's a really fun way to do things. I always encourage people to have a little launch cloud if you have time or the bandwidth to do it. It definitely helps get more people listening to your show on launch day. And then lastly, this is not necessarily for the actual like launch hype process itself, but more so for launch day. So I want you to make sure you're releasing at least 3 episodes on your launch day. We are totally a binge society, just like you would binge a show on Netflix. People want to binge podcasts. So give them something to binge. Give them at least 3 episodes plus your trailer to listen to on launch day so that they can get acquainted with your show, get excited about it, share it with their friends, and then just look forward to next week. So those are the 5 ways to build hype for your upcoming podcast launch. I would absolutely love to know if you're planning on launching your own podcast soon in the next couple months, next couple weeks. DM me on Instagram at Podcasting for Entrepreneurs and let's chat. I'd love to chat with you about that, kind of see where you're at in your launch process, talk about launch strategy and getting your show out there. So I'd love to chat with you. Head to Podcasting for Entrepreneurs on Instagram and send me a DM. But yeah, that is it for today's quick little episode. If you want to check out the show notes for the episode, you can go to savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com and I will see you in the next episode.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Stitcher and leave a review. You can find us at savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com and on Facebook at Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs and Instagram at Savvy Podcasting. Make sure to join our free Facebook community for podcasters by going to savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com/community and join in on the exclusive community just for Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs listeners. I'll see you there.